Allison, thank you. And also worth pointing out that 3 other officers who were at the scene that day, they are charged as well. Their trials upcoming. We'll see if today's verdict perhaps influences how those cases proceed.
Absolutely. August, that trial is set to begin.
Well, during his closing argument, prosecutor Steve Schessler made the point that this case should not be seen as a condemnation of all police. In fact, he said it's actually pro-police.
It's not the state versus the police. He's not on trial for who he was. He's on trial for what he did. He betrayed the badge and everything it stood for. It's not how they're trained. It's not following the rules. This is not an anti-police prosecution. It's a pro-police prosecution.
We want to go to Detroit Police Chief James Craig, who's joining us now to talk a little bit more about the verdict today and its potential impact on law enforcement. Sir, you've been with us many times for the last several months. Thanks for making time again tonight. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Rob. I appreciate you bringing me on.
What was your top line reaction when you heard the verdict today? Did you expect guilty in all 3 counts?
Absolutely. I was not surprised. As you might know, Rob, I was one of the first major city police chiefs that came out very quickly when I saw what took place, and recognizing I didn't know all the facts. I came out and said, you know, just like any citizen, when there is a crime, we do what? We arrest. He was not arrested. There was probable cause to arrest. And so I felt there was enough there to do that. And so I appreciate what the prosecutor said in this case. This should not be an indictment on all of law enforcement. Sadly, today, there's a knee-jerk reaction by some. They paint a broad brush that all law enforcement is bad, and a vast majority of the men and women who serve across this nation do it right every day.
Chief, many have said this verdict today was a referendum on race in America, that faith has been restored, but rebuilding that trust is critical moving forward. What is your message to those in your department tonight about the job that they do, the role that they play in serving and protecting the community?
Let me just say this. I'm very proud of the work that we do here in the city of Detroit. As you may or may not know, Detroit didn't burn, there was no looting, and there was a reason for that. We have a trust-based relationship with our community. We didn't wait for something bad to happen to start building trust-based relationships. This is something that's institutionalized in our department. And that should be a message for other police departments. I can't speak on, let's talk about Chicago. Laquan McDonald waited over a year, forced to release a video about a fatal shooting. What impact did that have on police-community relations? I would say significant, very significant. And so my message to the men and women of the Detroit Police Department, we will continue to serve our community, we will continue to be transparent, and we will foster trust, and that's what works.
And Chief, just to follow up then, if you are doing things in Detroit that are working, that are fostering trust in the community, what then do you say to other departments who have work to do in that area?
Transparency. You know, I watched when the recent tragedy out of Brooklyn Center, I watched that they released a video fairly quickly within 24 hours of the situation. But the problem was there was no coordination between the mayor, city manager, and the police chief. And so it in my view, my professional opinion, it brought about distrust. And I got to tell you, this is something we do each and every time we have a crisis incident. And it just didn't come off well. And they thought, well, the police chief resigns, the city manager is fired, the police officer resigns, so we won't have any more unrest. And predictably, unrest continued. Trust doesn't start when you have a bad incident. It's got to be institutionalized in the fabric of the police department. That's my message.
And Chief, you know, being on social media today and seeing so much reaction out there, obviously a lot of folks very happy, feel that justice was served today. Some folks not. I think there's one argument that people look at what's happened in the country in recent years and go, people shouldn't die for loose cigarettes or busted taillights or fake $20 bills. And there's another side that says, well, if you are stopped by the police, don't resist, comply, and don't let the situations escalate. How do we balance out those two points of view?
Well, you know, one bad incident is one too many. Whenever there's a loss of life, when we think about the recent tragedies, one too many. But let's be frank for a moment. I can talk about Detroit. We make hundreds to stop over a week. We arrest a number of people that are illegally carrying firearms, and we're not involved in excessive force incidents. Individuals are not dying. But how come we never talk about police officers that are being attacked? Let me tell you something. Last night ago, police officers were out investigating a quintuple shooting incident and then a fatal traffic accident. And a suspect decided that he would run through the crime scene in a vehicle and shoot at our police officers. It's followed up by a high-speed pursuit. He engaged our officers again, continued to engage them in a violent encounter of gunfire. Unfortunately, he succumbed to the injuries. But why? And then we have U.S. representatives that are stoking violence in some instances. What do we say about that? What does that do to the men and women who do our job correctly? It stokes violence. The anti-police rhetoric is real. Ask the men and women who serve in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. I get calls from all across this nation. I will speak out. I'm unapologetic about supporting good police, but I'm also focused on holding those accountable who violate their oath of office, particularly when they violate the law.
What impact, Chief, does this have on recruiting good officers to the force to sign up for this dangerous job day in and day out?
You know what? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. It's very significant. I know when I look at some of these other cities, New York, Los Angeles, even in your city, Chicago, guess what I know? When you don't support the men and women who do the job courageously, they don't want to do the job, and you can't recruit. But here in Detroit, I have a pipeline of candidates right now. I graduate a class of recruits every single month. And I have police officers who have left here for higher paying police jobs, and some who had already had tenure in other departments. And I always ask the question, I said, why do you want to become a Detroit Police Department? One thing, support. And we know an absence of support, the morale goes down, people resign, they retire prematurely. Why would you want to do the job? And you got all the anti-police talk, defund the police. I guess defund the police hasn't worked out very well for a lot of places. So when are we going to stop and just say, let's support the good men and women who do the work, who keep our community safe? And I got to tell you something. This is what I also know. Crime is always higher, and I've worked in a number of cities. It's always higher in communities of color. And what I know, Detroit has the highest African-American community in this country. And guess what I know? They want this police department. They respect this police department. And they don't believe in defunding, dismantling, and the other anti-police is going on. So,
Chief, we're going to have to leave it there. I wish we could have the rest of the
I would
hour
love
with
to
you,
talk.
because there are a lot of questions I have about some of the things that were just said. But that
Well,
we
I
don't
can
have the
talk to
kind
you
of
all
time.
night.
I know you could. We
Anytime.
will have you back. We will have you. We will have you back. I
Okay.
promise. There's a
Please
lot
do.
of discussion to be had with your last few remarks. Thank you, sir, as always. We appreciate it.
All right. You have a great one. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.